So I'm really enjoying Season 2, but I have to say, I feel that it should stick to the rousing action and not try to do too much with the political intrigue, because I think it's a lot better at the former than it is at the latter. And I was thinking about this, like if you rated the characters in this show and were like, well, which characters do I think would actually be good at political intrigue? Relatively few of them would be, because if you think about it, like Ido Voss, this episode, for example, he can't get anyone to do what he wants. He's been, trying to get the Trevantians to go to war with the Pyans, and repeatedly he's been rebuffed, and this episode he can't keep his cool.
I will convince the council to request a diplomatic summit with the Pyans.
Trevantians do not sue for peace.
We do what we need to do.
So, he's not able to really do the whole political intrigue thing. He's just a beast, a lot like his brother in that regard. And then you've got the character of Queen Kane, who I think this show wants to treat as though she is Cersei Lannister. I think that that's the most obvious TV comparison. She's got the whole incest thing going on. Some of you kind of predicted that she might try to get pregnant with her nephew, and that seems to be her game plan. So, more incest on television, just what we all asked for.
Fair enough. Many good things start with desire.
But, the thing with her is that she's not clever. She's really, really dumb. This episode has established, this season has established it repeatedly, just how dumb she is. And a number of us have expressed the wish that the character would just finally be killed off. Like, she's a campy, fun character, and I would argue in some ways a very, very good villain. But we're just not, enjoying the character, how she's just constantly making dumb decisions that digs her and her sister into a deeper and deeper hole. And now that the whole group is going to be in Pensa with the Pyans, I'm kind of interested to see how things go down. But I would really like this character to get killed off by the end of the season. I think the show needs to move on from her. But she's not particularly good at political intrigue. And it's going to come out fairly shortly what went down when she killed her people by flooding that entire city. So how she's going to manipulate the situation there, I'm interested to see. But, there's a couple characters I feel that would actually be good at political intrigue. Obviously, I think that seems every inch the queen. She seems like someone that actually could get it done. This episode, you see her making a marriage of political expediency, something that Kofun just doesn't seem to get. Not his best moment. But again, I think that this episode, she shows her astuteness as someone who can get people to do what she wants them to do. She knows when to use the hammer.
Put on your pants, Harlan. I need your help. Now.
Fine.
And she knows when to use the carrot. And, I think clearly Lord Harlan must have some feelings for her. Otherwise, I have no idea why he wouldn't insist on consummating the marriage. Obviously, he was hoping that she had some buried attraction to him, but she was not having it. The plan to send his brother to Trevantes to look for Haniwa, I feel what's going to happen here most likely is he's probably going to get caught, and Ido is going to use this to try and show that the Pyans have intentions to attack the city, and this is going to force the city's hand, and they're going to end up going after the Pyans. So I think this character is going to end up dead, most likely. We'll see. Otherwise, this episode, though, I think, obviously the most impactful thing this episode, it was an odd episode. I think this is the first episode the entire season where there hasn't been like at least one really, really spectacular, long action sequence. I don't think there was any action in this episode for the first time this season. And I was okay with it. I didn't actually notice that there wasn't action because I was interested so much in the performance of Christian Camargo as Tamakti June. And I think that there are some challenges with the way that they're portraying this character. Obviously, I think they're doing a fairly good job of not just acting like he's completely redeemed now because he has abandoned his mission of killing all sighted people. But I feel, like that's being handled relatively well, but I feel that I'm still not really buying into the idea that he would abandon this mission so quickly and change to this mission of protecting these two-sighted children. To me, that's hard to swallow. And Christian Camargo's performance this episode didn't do a lot to make me struggle with it less. And I'll explain what I mean. It's the fact that he was so torn up about all these people that he had killed when he was just this brutal, seemingly devoid of emotion character who was just killing people all season long last season and didn't seem particularly tormented by it. You could kind of see him as someone who just who followed his mission and wasn't particularly bothered by the things he had to do. But when you see him this episode with great acting by Christian Camargo, just showing how much the deaths and the pain and the misery he's caused are tearing him up, I feel like it's a lot harder to buy that he would abandon this mission that he has devoted so much of himself to, that he did despite apparently hating the things that he had to do to complete that mission. I liked the dramatic scene between him and Paris. I think Alfre Woodard oftentimes doesn't get enough to do on this show, so I was glad to see a scene between these two. And again, I thought they did a nice job of her, listening to him, but not like being like, oh, we're buddies now, you're okay, we don't care that you killed all these people. I liked a number of lines during this exchange.
You asked me if I remember how many I had killed. That's like me asking you how many breaths you took today.
Do not fear. You'll have plenty of opportunities to die.
And I'm interested to see where they take both these characters going forward the rest of the season. I expect there were a number of lines this episode from different characters that could be taken as speeches that are foreshadowing characters' deaths.
As long as I'm alive, nothing will separate us.
I think that they're going to kill Tamakti June before the end of the season. And I'm okay with that decision. I think that because of all the damage that he's done to this world, I think that he probably should die. He probably deserves to die. And I think that he's also someone where if he did a sacrificial death, you would, to a certain extent, maybe feel a little bit emotional about it. But I wouldn't be too hasty to do it if I were the showrunners, because there's just not that many characters in the show to begin with. And they've already wasted a number of deaths this season. I feel that the deaths of Boots and Gerald Morell were kind of wasteful. I feel like they could have been a lot more impactful than they were. And I would try, if I were them, to maximize the death of Tamakti June a little bit more than they did those, to say the least. Otherwise, we got Bo Lion back this episode. She didn't really have much to do other than to be like, I want to kill Tamakti June. I am also having a little bit of trouble buying that the main characters wouldn't have killed him already or let him be killed, because do they really need him? I mean, they're going to Pensa, where Queen Kane is seemingly in control of, a huge army and all the people there. So it doesn't really seem to me that they need him. So I'm kind of surprised that they would not, that they would step in. I also thought it was interesting, the speech at the end of this episode that Baba Voss gives to Haniwa. To me, I said there were a number of death speeches this episode, potential death speeches. This definitely seemed like one. Whenever a character said, as long as I'm alive, I'll protect you, you have to wonder how long they're going to be able to stay alive. So those are my thoughts on this episode, The Witchfinder. Still enjoying the show. Really, really excited to see where they take the rest of the season. Looking forward to the confrontation between Baba and Ido Voss. And I think it's interesting that this is apparently Apple TV Plus's most watched drama series. You know, who knew? I feel like it definitely seems to me like the type of show that people are clamoring for, but I wasn't really sure. So those are my thoughts for what they are worth. If you're interested in seeing my upcoming reviews of See and other shows, please consider subscribing to the channel. And as always, thank you for watching.